Hello, 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 welcome back to another trek through the dungeon. Here we go with the continuation of what had started as an attempt to get some kind of cross hunter going, and then realizing that I'd never actually used crossbows before, so might as well try that. Excuse me. And now we've got a fairly reasonable crossbowman going, so yay. Yeah, it's a kobold with a crossbow, and doing fairly well so far. We just made it to the Ecumenical Temple in the first segment, worshipped Okuwaru, and got a reasonable amount of stuff done. Did a bunch of IDing just now. Also just slipped on the Amulet of Faith, so that's going to pay off. Let's go ahead and ditch a bunch of these utility scrolls here, or strategic scrolls here for now. I will keep one recharging just in case. What else? What else? That should about do it for now. Crossbow bolts, as always, are kind of a pain in the neck. I don't want to run out. But now that my Okuwaru piety is about to hit gift-giving levels, and I have the piety boost amulet, that should stop being as acute a concern soon. Okay, that hurt like the odds Biddikins. Let's get out of here, get some health back, and then come back. To fight against imps, we will use crossbows. Flip back to sword. To fight against centaurs, we will use superior vantage point. And a crossbow would probably be nice. Okay, it didn't follow me. What the hell happened? It was right here. It didn't open and close a door. That was kind of insane. Okay, switch to sword and just cut things up for a while. Ooh, shoes. Unless kobolds have triangular feet or something. What is the availability here? No restrictions on any slot. Perfect. It's been a long time since I played a character like that I can remember. I'm pretty sure there was a cloak earlier, or maybe that was a previous attempt. Yeah, that was a previous attempt. Alright, so let's proceed. And this guy fired a crossbow bolt, eh? An uncursed crossbow. I doubt very much it's better than my current one, but the fact that it's uncursed is promising. 1-1 versus 1-2, so I'll stick with mine. Thanks. Couple poison stacks, then we'll hit you with the sword and end you. Ooh, it's a mimic. We'll just hit you with the sword and end you. Sword. Make sure I haven't trained swords at all. I don't want Okuwaru to get the wrong idea and start thinking that when he wants to give me good gifts, he should give me swords. Close the door. Go the long way. Because I was going to get off 2 shots at most in that situation, and I think I can do better. Actually, you know what? Just disintegrate him. Hit him with the sword. My sword just got corroded. Wield the crossbow, shoot. And that should be enough to get him. Yeah, that was okay. The reason I don't open with crossbow against jellies is they are actually capable of eating those shots. There's a glowing trident not far from here. Let's go pick it up. See what we're leaving behind. It's cursed. That sucks. Let's go ahead and drop my sword now in favor of the was-cursed trident. There's also a chance that the trident is actually pretty lousy, but, you know, they'll just eyeball it. Eyeball it, and then we stab the eyeball. Oh, no, I'm punching it with my bare hands. Whoops. Switch to crossbow and shoot the priest. Switch to poison and try to stack it on the tough guy. Okay, I got at least a few hits in. And he seems to be in perfect condition now. Okay. Let's definitely use Okuwaru's abilities here. That should help with everything, AC and dodging included. Switch to the crossbow. I'm feeling lucky. And I've got the ability to cure, so nope. Definitely need to use that ability to cure and then start running again. One hit, this guy got brutal attack power. Okay, again using heroism. Apparently I was under the impression that he would get left behind, but that's not how it works. Options. I'm gonna drink Might, wield that trident, and then heal up, and then go medieval on his ass. Nope, still nothing. He's still got the advantage, and all of that healing is really laying into my resources. Yes, risk the trap. Him on top of the trap is a good place for me. Okay, that was absolutely devastating. I lost all of my regenerative abilities that I know of, at least, and a lot of my burst abilities, and I barely got anything out of it. So yeah, that was all around pretty terrible. Oh well. Let's see what comes next. Switch it up to crossbowman and just try and take these guys out. Okay, that's a fair amount of eating. There we go. Yeah, I got an extra shot in against the yellow wasp that I otherwise wouldn't have gotten. So, it's a good thing I did the door method. No more Okuwaru Piety, but then again, I did use a lot of his abilities, so that could have been part of it. We're going to open with Heroism before attacking the Sky Beast, just to maximize the damage output. And yay! God Gift, 18 Poison Bolts. We are now in business. We can be hopeful that we're going to get a lot of bolts now. Hopeful, not guaranteed. Sacrifice as often as possible to keep that piety up. Quiver the poison bolts and shoot. Cool. And re-quiver the ordinary bolts until such time as we know what we need it for. If I can grab one of these, that'd be nice. Perfect. So we ate one and I got to keep one. Fair enough. Alrighty. Man, this is how Crawl works. You have the initial phase where everything is lethal, and then you get to a point where, okay, and now less things are lethal, but they're still there, so you have to pay attention. And eventually you'll hit a point where most things are not lethal, but, oh my god, when something is, you better pay it. The hard part is switching over to paying attention. Let's use the blowgun, since I have the luxury in this point, at this point. And, yeah, that's just the thing. That's exactly how it plays out with these weapons, that, you know, you switch to the right one. Now here, I want to poison him, but I also want to damage him, so poison bolts make more sense. And I can't necessarily just be guaranteed to outrun him. Did he leave a corpse? He did. Any luck? Nope, no hide. I would totally go in for some troll leather armor right now for the regen. That would be awesome. Although maybe what should I be doing for armor, actually? I'm not going to have enough armor skill to really train a lot, but, I don't know, we'll see. Next floor. Get some poison stacks out there. And just use a trident. I'm poison resistant, so it's all good. Okay, I don't think I've ever encountered Deep Elf soldiers this early on. What was he doing that took so long to process? Poison bolt hits. He is poisoned. He shouts. Heavily wounded. Unwields. Wields a longbow. Fires an arrow. Okay. That's what he did. That finishes him off. I'm not sure why I picked up the arrows. Let's ditch those. Pretty sure that longbows are always off limits, and bows are probably off limits as well for this character. Crossbow with poison bolts, good. 3 stacks should do the trick. We'll just drop up to 4. Oh, right, they get the damn regeneration speed from being trolls. Okay, there's the troll hide. You know what I'm thinking is, since I'm an evade based mostly, it actually makes sense to not use super heavy armor yet, especially since training the armor is going to be at a -2 penalty and it's going to take a long time. But troll hide, I think, has a fairly solid guaranteed damage reduction in and of itself, and the regeneration should be good enough at least for the entirety of the lair. And I did save and enchant armor for precisely such an occasion, so let's go. I think go for it. I owe 4 and -1 compared to my current armor ring mail, which is 5 and -2. I'd say it's reasonable. Like, I would much rather have been running away from that orc earlier with this on than with something else. Let's see. Am I carrying any stuff? I'm probably carrying a bunch of stuff I don't need anymore, but what the heck? Let's keep doing it. Down, down, down we go. And all of that time definitely is going to be doing nothing favorable to my piety. Line up a lightning shot? No, you know what? I'm poison immune, right? Or resistant. Still line up a lightning shot. Okay, we're out of lightning. This is a good time to find that out. Recharge the lightning wand. And just because I can, let's go ahead and really destroy all of these guys. That should do most of the damage. Poison works extra well on these kinds of creatures. That worked well for my piety. Awesome. Pick up a cloak. I'm really suspicious that this is a lousy spear, or trident. What other weapons can the dungeon offer me? More importantly, do I have a remove curse in case it's bad? Yes, I do. Okay. What other weapons can the dungeon offer me? Ruined short sword potentially could get really good damage per second without any training. And it's venomous. Perfect. That's exactly what I want to hear. So much for conserving piety, right? Stab you to death. Cut you and eat you. Down floor we go. Down floor. Did I finish this floor? I did not. Blowgun. Okay. Wait. What? Wield the sword and smack him. Okay. And for God's sakes, rename that to the correct letter so that I know what I'm doing next time. Smack him. Smack him. Oh, yay. If I could just get a little bit more, I think this is another good opportunity to use up as much of the lightning wand as I can. Just because of how sick these shots are. 4+ enemies in one hit. That's just that's too good to ask for. I'm not getting drained, am I? Because if I am, I'm not even noticing, and that sucks. But with troll leather, I can get away with a lot. Oh no, I'm just being hit from afar. That's what's happening. Okay. Let's go ahead and poke these guys to death. Then we'll use lightning where it will triple zap the corner. Or not, as the case may be. There we go. You know what? You guys can come and chase me all the way to the wall. That's fine. It's only taking me 25 hits to even penetrate your armor. You will eventually die, and as long as you're not using a rude weapon, draining weapon. I don't care how long it takes. Because I'm regenerating my health almost as fast as I'm losing it in that fight. And I already got the resist poison through the helmet, so I'm not scared of jellyfish either. Yay! Flame bolts. More things to kill. Go ahead and get some nice shots off there. Beyond my understanding. Well, there's a good chance I will never understand it then. Books like that usually require me to train in magic a very long time. Well, before it disappears, I don't know if it does disappear, but let's go to the portal. I don't have resist electricity, so this could be painful. But at the same time, I think he'll die before it becomes painful. Yeah. Okay. Do I have a reach weapon? No. This is a tricky situation for me. I wish I had just kept my spear. I could have used it very nicely here. I don't want to blow a whole bunch of darts that I don't know I'll get back. And until they're actually sending enemies that I can't deal with, I would rather just keep moving. The fish I stopped for because, you know, being pecked at by a fish the whole way is not my idea of an okay trade. Shit. Okay, that works. Yeah, we're just gonna have to keep it. You know what? I'm actually dangerously close to committing suicide here because I don't want to use a couple crossbow bolts, and that's just not smart. So let's kill the electric eel, who is the real threat. And now that he's dead, we can go back to doing what we were doing before. No, you know what? I anticipate actually being able to finish crossing. So I'm going to pick off the orcs that are inducing my terror. And then I'm just going to keep moving. And the jellyfish will serve as a guard against more dangerous ranged threats. There we go. Now we've turned the bend. So this is about how long I would have been waiting anyway. Definitely want to kill that and eat it. This one I'll sacrifice. Okay. He's leaving behind shiny armor. And I'm not going to say no to even thinking about it, especially since I do have the strength for it. So I will look into this later. Strength as in, you know, I can wear it without penalty. Also, I'll take your trident while I'm at it. Because, you know, not having a reach weapon of any kind is obviously an oversight. Okay. From my vantage point here, if I had Mephitic Cloud, this would be over. But since I'm not playing a Mephitic Wizard, I can still probably peg them with... Actually, is there any way to get back my items? No. Probably not. Okay, well in which case, best not to blow a lot of resources. Since I don't see them dying either. Let's switch to basic bolts and just go the long way around. I'm gonna get pecked a little bit. It's no big deal. Close the door. Try out the new helmet. Well, if I had to choose between resist poison and blinked plus resist poison plus strength plus 3 with a -2 on it, frankly, I still think that I think the -2 AC is too much to ask long term, but short term it's fine. 5 AC with no penalty to evade versus 4 AC plus regeneration with a penalty to evade. I prefer my current one, even though it's probably not the best option. And we'll take the rune plate mail. I mean, I have the strength to carry all this stuff out, so I'll just take it out with me. Okay. Took a lot of damage, but whatever. Made it out of the Bailey. And got some decent armors out of it. There's a little bit of gold apparently I'm leaving behind because I didn't take the time to find the other secret passage, I guess. I don't care. Let's ditch the stuff that I'm not going to use, and let's try on a bunch of different things. The plate mail is poison resistant, which is great, but it's also too heavy for me. The scale mail, on the other hand, I can wear just fine, but it's not special and it's cursed. So I would rather wear the troll leather for all the reasons I've cited already. We'll ditch it along with the Steam Dragon armor and put back on my actual helmet, but I will keep this other helmet handy, because being able to use an evocable blink might prove more useful at some point, and I want to know that I have that resource. Okay. A lot of enemies clustered up here. I'm going to do something which you all might not have remembered I can do. I'm going to put on my Ring of Invisibility. Do I not have that anymore? Oh, that was a previous run? Shoot. Okay. Then I'm going to stand by the river and poke you with a poison sword until the real enemies arrive. You know, the ones who are capable of actually moving past the water to damage me. You're definitely getting eaten, son. Stack as much poison as you can on the goldfish so that when it runs away it still dies. And that should do it. Jellyfish can't paralyze you. Really, they should have paralytic stings, but don't tell the developers I said that, because that would make them truly horrifically scary. Let's put a crossbow with ordinary... No, with melty darts. Because I should have flame, right? Yep. And boom. A couple shots, end you. Now, the mulch rate on fire is, if I recall, higher than normal. I don't believe it's like a significantly higher than normal rate, but maybe it is. It's not like the translocation, or whatever it's called, distortion? No. Dispersal weapons, where it's like guaranteed if it hits it's going to mulch, but it's higher than normal if I recall correctly. Dude, I hate you imps so much. You know what? It's worth it just to not be frustrated. I'm gonna shoot you with my crossbow till you're dead. I lost a lot of good bow shot or crossbow bolts unnecessarily there. Of course, at this point I'm getting gifts. At this point, if I'm using basic crossbow bolts, it just means that I'm being too persnickety about spending them. Oh, come at me, bro. Did they seriously not see me? I'm not doing anything to stealth myself. I guess kobolds being small and high evasion might just have a natural bonus to stealth that I'm not aware of, because I'm definitely sensing having a particularly easy time staying invisible. Okay, Gastronaut. Definitely something I want to clear this floor out before I deal with him. So, just, you know, I'm not going to fight him when he has allies nearby that aren't even summoned allies at that. Okay, whoa, there was a flying beast here. And then it disappeared again. Give me poison bolts. This fucker is gonna disappear. I want him poisoned when he does. Good. New staircase down. Gastronaut is present on the floor, just as we believed. Damn, this guy's hurting a lot. But at the end of the day, he's a zombie. Which means he's dead already. Go poison bolts. And please drop the one poison dart you're carrying. It just makes everything so much more complicated. Okay. Things are getting tricky. Let's definitely use the flame bolts to take out these ice guys. But also, I'm very cognizant of the fact that I'm trying to recover health primarily right now. Oh shit, there's a lot of you. If I can line up a good lightning bolt, that'd be ideal. This'll have to do. Okay, I ran out, and that's a steam dragon. I want to hit the teleport, honestly, at this point, but I could end up here. That's not exactly a lot better. I don't know what the floor looks like well enough to know where I want to be, but I can always magic map later. Fear would only potentially work on 2 of the enemies I'm facing. No, you know what? Teleport is good. That amount of aggro pointed right at me is scary. Definitely want to stick to my best weapons right now, because I need to kill things fast. And that means that I shouldn't take 6 shots to kill a fucking wizard. Okay, this would be a great time to blink if I could, by the way. I have heroism on, which should make it very hard to actually kill me. If I retreat into the unknown towards the top of the screen, it gives me my best chance to regenerate health while running, thanks to the... Damn, he blinked! Right into where I didn't need him to be. Fear. Fear, right now. Good. Then quiver the poison. And then kill the ogre. Okay, that worked. That worked. That worked really nicely, actually. That was exactly what I needed to do and exactly when I needed to do it. Sometimes you don't have the... There's a concept that I've seen discussed in certain places, like in the... I think it must have been the wiki, actually, when I was learning the game, talking about turning low-value resources into high-value resources, or getting good use out of lower-value resources. Obviously, if I had a blink scroll, that would have been my instinct to use in that situation, but in that situation, I was able to get at least as much use as I would have out of a blink scroll, with just a fear scroll, which is significantly less valuable. I'm gonna carry his bow with me just so that he doesn't think of using it again. Or his friend, who's doubtlessly sitting nearby. I've left about 12 bolts lying around, which is good, because clearly my stacks are dwindling. Well, I guess it's not clear, but it feels to me like they are, so yeah. Of course, all that delay has cost me my chance to explore the ice cave, which would have been potentially very good. But you know what? If I wasn't ready to deal with 7 ice bears pointed right at my face right off the bat, if I wasn't ready to deal with 7 ice imps, then I definitely wasn't ready to deal with the ice bears I probably would have faced. So, it's all good. Maybe I was just saved a near-death experience. Will be quiver poison. Good. Pelt. Quiver ordinary bolts. Finish him. Yay! Bonus flame bolts. And another book. So between this one and the one I can't read, let's drop the one I can't read, but the one I can read includes a basic ice spell, throw frost, throw icicle, condensation shield. These aren't bad spells, but they're nothing that's going to make me want to learn magic. Not at the cost of all the experience that I could be putting into my primary combat skills right now. I will enchant my crossbow further, since by the looks of it I'm going to be stuck with this one for quite a while. I'm wielding the crossbow. Do I have a good stack of poison bolts? And this might be a good time to... Nah. Yeah, this is a good time to poke Gastronaut. You'll notice that I started off by maximizing the distance between us. He is not getting poisoned. Like, at all. Because I'm not quivering the poison bolts. Damn it. Okay, he died, and I just got a bunch of poison bolts as a result. He also dropped the Hat of Ponderousness, which is a fantastic, fantastic caster hat, if you're willing to deal with the perma-slow. Or, you know, you could realize that maybe perma-slow is a bad thing and not use it. In my case, I'm not even a caster, so I have even less incentive. Fire these crossbow bolts that way, please. Just keep doing it until a target shows up that I can pretend I'm shooting at, even though I know I'm shooting past him. Good God, it's like Okuwaru realized all of a sudden that he was supposed to be giving me gifts. Not that I object, it's just, dude, where was this generosity earlier? Why am I wielding the helmet? There we go. God gift, strength -3, so literally just a useless helmet. I mean, I guess it's +2, but yeah, it's strictly inferior to everything else I've already gotten. As long as I got the resist poison on, I'm just gonna take these guys on by hand. Because, again, not a lot they can do to me. By the way, you guys can't tell because I haven't said anything about it, but I am using tab to auto-fight, including tab to auto-fight for firing off my crossbow bolts, including tab to auto-fight for using my manual weapon. That way, there's at least one intrinsic restriction to prevent me from just blowing off all of my power and then dying. Because I wasn't paying attention to something on the screen. Okay, I heard slurping noises. Have I left behind a lot of bolts somewhere and forgotten to pick them up? No. Okay. As long as he's not taking my valuable stuff that I figured I would get to eventually. Okay, that guy is not immune to poison, but he's not getting seriously poisoned, so... Okuwaru ability. Short sword. Couple stabs. Crossbow, quivering my... What is your deal, by the way? Slightly resistant to enchantments, nothing more. Alright. Quivering, poison bolts. Go nuts. Go with ordinary bolts now. Okay, and that should have killed the priest, or the sorcerer, or whatever the hell it was in between. Okay. Cleared. There is an unseen horror, judging by the movement pattern in this hallway. It's to the right of me. So we're going to switch to a poison bolt that can potentially hit it. And then just go nuts. There we go. We got it. And the reason I said that it was probably a unseen horror was that it was the place that my bolts ended up when they hit it in between were different each time. If it had been a orc wizard that had gone invisible, then it would stand to reason that the guy would stay on the same spot, roughly. Quiver me up some poison. Wield me this. Let's go ahead and sacrifice this stuff. Okay, what are all these staves? Keep dropping all over the place. I want them identified so that later on in the game I'll know what the staves are. I've hit the level at which I said I would stop focusing crossbows, so I will turn off the focus. I'm actually going to throw a few points into stealth, since my character seems so naturally stealthy. There's no harm, I guess, in doing it. Turn off fighting for the moment. Just get stealth up to 3 or 4. Because, yeah, I walked all the way up to this guy and didn't even know I was there until I started punching him. You're not immune to poison, so let's just shoot you with poison. It should end you. And we'll butcher you for the sake of leaving your hide, even though I have no intention of ever using your hide. But I'll have it available if I change my mind. I don't want to burn out my gorgeous poison sword, so I will attack with the trident. Which, if it gets ruined, who cares? I wasn't even using it anyway. Just hanging onto it for a reach weapon. Alright, still no lair, which has been kind of where I've been trying to reach. That's cool. I got a couple more floors before I have to find it. Yes! Acquirement. Okay, if I go ammunition, I don't have any clue what I'll get. But since I'm following Okuwaru, it's probably a waste, since I'll eventually get good ammunition. Gold is always an option, but at this point I have yet to find even a store. Always acquire armor is the mantra that many people follow, and frankly, it's not a bad one. I think, though, if I acquire a weapon, I'll be happiest, actually. Because I'm stuck using a pretty mundane crossbow right now, and it would almost guaranteed give me a crossbow, since that's the only skill I have trained, and I've trained it up to 16. I'm feeling like I might want to go that route, actually, so... And I guess Okuwaru gives weapons? But he also gives ammo and armor, and I can't recall... No, he does give weapons. He does give weapons. So I'll eventually get a good god gift weapon somewhere down the road. And I'll eventually get a good god gift armor. So really, all the things that I would acquire, I will eventually acquire without having to acquire them. The things that I'm going to want scrolls of acquirement for long term are going to be special wands, but... Not about to blow a scroll of acquirement this early with most of the ones in the game unidentified. So what it comes down to is this. What do I want to acquire now? What do I not want to wait for? Armor is not the answer. I already have resist poison and regen. That's enough to get through the whole lair. Ammunition would be nice, but it'll be gone by the time I actually really want special ammo, probably. So I'm going to go with a good weapon. See what comes up. Flaming crossbow. Okay. It's not a bad weapon. It's definitely not what I wanted, but I can use this. I can use this. My guess is that if you use a flaming crossbow with poison bolts, it only gives you the effect of the fire, not the poison. So what I'm going to do is use my ordinary crossbow for my poison, and my fire crossbow for my ordinary darts. Or... not darts, thingamabobs. Yeah. As nice as it is to get an acquirement scroll, sometimes when you get them this early, you just know you're not going to get anything good out of it. Alright. Managed to kill the slimes without letting them become a super slime. That's always nice. Especially in this case where... Shit. Yeah, but if they become a super slime, they're now also bull guarding all of my resources. Still, perfect range is always a nice thing to have. They can't beat me in that regard. I only have 50-ish bolts. Okay, 50 is a lot to say only for, though. That's like only having 12 runes. Yeah, well, that's still a lot. Alright, another good job. Test quaff, just because I'm feeling lucky. Finally found a heal wounds potion on the 12th floor. Good God. It's usually one of the first 5 potions you find in the game. Well, identify in the game. Okay, final floor before the this has to be the lair floor. I heard a minotaur snarfing, so let's search him out, because Minotaur's lair is going to be a definite yes for me in this run. What I need to do is get to these 2 spots, which are it's probably one of those. And the way I'm going to do that is head up the top area and disintegrate my way through that wall. Also, my stealth is already well past the 5 that I said I would disable it at, so just go back to fighting. Oh, Christ. I was just hoping for a walk in the park, but they don't want me to have no walk in the park. I wonder if modeled zombies are resistant to fire. Nope. Immune to poison, very resistant to cold. That's it, so wield me my crossbow of flame with my ordinary bolts, and let's get cracking. Damn. He took him out fast. It's a good time to try and stock up on the food in my stomach, since I'm going to be in a Minotaur Slayer shortly. That wand of disintegrate is drained. Found the spot. I'm very curious what this other spot is, and I think I have enough time to find out before I enter, just to satisfy my curiosity. But maybe not. Okay, I got the engorged status. Oh, it's a treasure trove. Perfect. We'll figure out what kind of treasures it has afterwards. For now, ditching all of the stuff that I'm not going to be making use of while I'm inside, including an empty wand of disintegration when I have a different copy of it, including the bow of flame that I only carry to deny it to others. That should do it. Let's get in there. Okay, and about here I think is a good time to stop. I will continue the video from here next time. Thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time.